This is the Lean Builders Hoots on the Ground podcast with absolutely, positively no bullshito. Join us as we dig into exactly what lean construction is and how we can use these concepts and strategies in the field. This podcast will be different as we journey to job sites and mine the minds of lean builders, all in effort to pass forward building knowledge from those who have put their time in to learn a better way. Because that's just what lean builders do. What's up, y'all? Adam Hoots here, the Lean Builder, Hoots on the Ground podcast with no bullshito. And I'm coming to you today with another solo episode on the comfort zone. Dun, dun, dun. It's going to be an awesome conversation where I get outside my comfort zone a little bit and I'm able to get in front of you and help you and encourage you with some different ways that you can take action today to get outside your comfort zone. I'm super excited to talk about this one because this one is how we learn. This one's how we grow. This one's how we improve as human beings, as individuals, as teams, as a collective. But before we get going too far, I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday. Thanksgiving, I hope you're still as full as I am. Hope you got some great family time. For those of you grieving during this period, shout out No BS Tribe. I feel for you. My heart is with you. I'm here if you need to talk. Just get a hold of me. I am not hard to find, as Coach Primetime Deion Sanders says. I'm not hard to find. Super excited today to talk a little bit about the comfort zone. This is a concept that I have learned from many people out there in the industry. Jen Lacy talks about it. In fact, I'll show you here in a little while a diagram from Jen that she drew. Jason Schroeder talks about the comfort zone. Felipe talks about the comfort zone. I think it's a super important topic, and it's really, honestly, it's part of life, and it's part of improving yourself as a human being. As far as getting out there and experiencing something new, experiential learning is everything. And so we only do that when we're able to leave our comfort zone. So why is getting outside your comfort zone important? Well, it's very important for several reasons. First, it's experience, right? It's learning. It's getting outside your normal day-to-day activities to go and experience something else while you're able to learn and grow as a human being. This is how we expand our comfort zone, right? I don't know where your comfort zone is, but a lot of times it's in our house. Sometimes it could be in your bed where you feel comfortable, and man, I just don't want to get out of bed, right? Because I'm so comfortable. And then this is literal, right? But when I get out of bed and then I make my bed and then I go to the bathroom and brush my teeth and do my routine and all things good that way, I really get going and I start to experience life and I learn better ways to grow as a human being or an individual. So I really encourage folks and including in teams to get outside their comfort zones, because this is actual learning, right? This is actually when we're getting better. There's good stress in this world that really helps us to focus, to have energy, to be able to continue to have a pace and to drive forward. And so I really want to encourage us to get outside your comfort zone and experience a little bit of that stress that really makes you better as a human being, and put yourself in those situations. Inevitably, when you leave your comfort zone, at first, it's a little fearful. And guess what? It's super awkward. But that's okay. I won't tell anybody. You don't tell anybody, because it's only awkward for you. There's moments where you might experience awkward situations with people. Have fun, enjoy those moments, because again, that's learning, that's growth, that's total alignment. Even as teams, like when I go in and I coach teams and we start aligning around a certain goal or a certain mission or a date that we need to be complete by, forever are there awkward moments, right? And I'm learning to embrace those moments thanks to Jen and Jess. We're really starting to take and allow those moments to grow and develop and have wings, as they say. But at first, it was like always, I'll just encourage it a little bit. Don't worry, I'll wait. Just sitting there doing introductions, popcorn style. It's like, I'm going to see who's going to be the leader in this room and who's going to speak up first. That way, maybe I can ask them to speak last so that their ideas don't influence the other people's thoughts, right? Understanding the comfort zone is really going to force you to be okay with awkward moments. Quick funny Hoots story for you. I get in the elevator with my boy all the time, and when we get in the elevator, it's always awkward silence. And I forever do something goofy, something, just something to make them laugh, kind of spoil the awkward moment. I'm always acknowledging the awkward moment. And guess what happens? It goes away. So it used to be super awkward to get in an elevator with the Hoots family, and we'd all be sitting there kind of minding our own business. Ding, ding. Not anymore. We get in there and we pop a joke, a dad joke, or I don't know, we're talking or something, or we say, "Hey, did you see that pile of bees that?" Or we say, "Hey, did you hear about that new hurricane that's coming?" Or we just kind of mess with each other, especially if there's other people in it, because then people get off the elevator and they're like, "Oh my goodness, what is going on?" And and so we just enjoy those moments, right? When my kids get on elevators with me now, they just understand there's not going to be an awkward moment. So what we've done is we've taken that awkward moment, we've embraced it, we've made something of it, and now we feed it back into our comfort zone. So our comfort zone has expanded. Not only are we comfortable, together outside of elevators, but when we get inside the elevators, we're normal people, are awkward and having this moment. Hoots family's laughing, cracking up, enjoying each other, having fun with one another, and appreciating life. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. Look for those awkward moments, seek those awkward moments out, and be comfortable in those awkward moments. And that's something I'd love for that to be the theme of what we're talking about today, right? Be comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm gonna say that again for those of you like me who are like, huh? The hell did he just say? Be comfortable being uncomfortable. Don't allow grass to grow around your feet. Don't allow yourself to just be comfortable with where you are and what you're doing. Improve yourself, get better. Go put yourself into an awkward situation or an awkward moment and come out the other side a better person, a stronger person, someone who has another connection, more in your network, and being able to make a difference in life. And I'll tell you one thing, you're not the person that has the most to benefit out of this. It's our trade workers, it's our craft workers who are out there day to day building things, putting things together, tightening them screws down. They're the people who have to benefit the most, because when you get outside your comfort zone as a leader in the construction industry, you're then encouraging other people to also get out of their comfort zone. Right? If George, the concrete foreman, sees me, Adam Hoots, or James Boughton, like perfect example. The guy goes around, tune into his podcast. Please tune into his podcast because he does it different. He builds like the Savannah Bananas play baseball. And he's down in Savannah and he runs around the job site. I think he's got a song. I forget what song he plays all the time. Maybe my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. And he dances, right? Like he dances on his job site. How freaking cool is that? How uncomfortable must that be on the day one or day two? But day three or four, you're like, okay, I can vibe with it. Like maybe a little awkward dance, maybe the music changed, maybe he's reaching out to me in a different way to make me feel comfortable by him being uncomfortable. So again, our craft workers have so much to benefit out of this. If we can even allow them to be uncomfortable in front of us and allow them to experiment and innovate and grow our industry, oh, we're going to be in so much better shape. And that also, I mean, that takes you being uncomfortable, right? Like you might have to get uncomfortable and actually go out there and talk to them. What a concept that would be, like to empower the trade worker to go out there and say, hey, George, the concrete foreman, you got anything you can do to make this job go better? And it might mean spending a couple bucks, but listen to those people, right? And if you're not going to listen to the people, don't even ask. Like, don't even get outside your comfort zone because you got to do something about it. When you hear what's going on, you've got to be able to do something about it, or it makes it 10 times worse that, hey, I hear you, George, but I was not going to do anything about it. Now it's like, okay, I'm taking it in, but you still don't mean enough for me to do anything about it. So if you're going to hear out the trade worker and you're going to get uncomfortable and empower them to speak up and innovate on the job site, be prepared to do something about it to truly make a difference on the job. Again, our craft workers have the most to benefit when we take an active concern or when we have an active curiosity in their well-being or their fortune. They know, right? Our craft workers know the intentions of us just by our actions and our words. And believe me, you can try all you want to hide that. It is not going to happen. These people are smart and they're able to tell intentions, whether good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just going to warn you right now because a little bit of this stuff can go a long way, right? It's almost like a drug. It's like, man, you get a little bit of it and you're outside your comfort zone and you start getting comfortable and it's like, man, whew, that was fun. Like, I want to do that again. And so it's almost like that roller coaster effect. So you really, really got to be careful with this, or you might be like Jesse Hernandez tanning in his underwear outside doing his No BS show. When you cross the fear zone, it's a lot like the roller coaster. So when we start to get outside your comfort zone, it's like, man, this is scary. This is scary. And then you go through the ride and you're like, oh my goodness, that was amazing. That was awesome. I want to go again. That's a lot how like getting outside your comfort zone can be, right? Like even think about just going to a networking event and it's like, okay, I showed up again, super awkward moment. Okay, great. Let's flock to it, right? So I get to the networking event, I'm looking around, always get a drink first, right? So then I'm walking up and then I finally get my first meet and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Adam Hoots." And then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh boy, I put myself in this awkward situation. My feet and my brain did it to me. And now I'm here shaking hands with someone and I got to keep the conversation going. How am I going to avoid the awkward moment? I'm going to listen. I'm going to ask questions, right? And maybe I'm going to allow that awkward moment to surface just a little bit to allow the other person to see, hey, how good are they at controlling this comfort zone? Like how comfortable is the other person in this zone right now? And so everywhere you go, you're creating your own comfort zone. At least that has been my experience as you start to get to know people, as you start to kind of expand your own comfort zone. I'm able to just pick up my comfort zone and roll with me because it's like, hey, I'm going to be the same whether I'm at home, whether I'm in, the CEO of major construction corporation here, or if I'm on the job site in front of George the concrete foreman. I'm just Hoots. I'm just Hoots on the ground, and we're just here to improve construction. And if you can't get on board with that, then I don't know what's wrong with you. That's my comfort zone. I take my comfort zone along with me. I leave my comfort zone, right? Like there are still times where it's very hard for me to stay comfortable, but I always remind myself of this episode or this chapter in my life when I learned about the comfort zone. So I wanted to show y'all a few graphics about the comfort zone. We've talked a little bit about each one of these bullets already, but I wanted to show you the Yerkes and Dodson law. And so this is what I was talking about earlier from a respects of stress, right? And performance. And so there is an optimal amount. They also call this the Goldilocks law. The point is, if you're on the left side of this diagram or in the yellow side of this diagram, you're kind of sleepy or tired because I really don't have your interest. This really isn't a topic that you're super excited about. And so you're kind of like, oh, yeah, I've heard that before, Hoots, like whatever. But then I start venturing in, maybe a little outside your comfort zone, right? Maybe I start venturing into something you might not know. And so then you're like, ooh, I've never heard that word before. What's that word mean? What's Gemba? What's that word mean? Maybe I piqued your interest here. Or maybe I said something about being on schedule, on budget, right? Or with good quality and no safety accidents. Like, oh man, I just got the attention of a lot of people now, right? Like now I've got your optimal arousal. And now I'm in that little green sliver of like, hey, peak performance, right? Your performance is on point, your attention is on point, your arousal, you're right there, you're focused. But then it's like, and this has happened to me a little bit before I discovered the small J's, where I would come in and I would be like super like excited. And this is what lean construction is. And we're going to do lean on this. And we're going to visualize this. And we're going to make sure the last planner system's engaged. And we got percent plan complete. And I would just go on and on and on about lean construction and not come up for air whatsoever. And so that caused a lot of people to shut down and say, whew, that's like a lot of anxiety right there. I need to pause and reflect. Hold on. Rafa.
That's Andrew and Rafa.
Oh, what's up, guys?
We're doing our annual trip to Springfield, and so we thought we'd give you a call.
Nice. Yes. You're being recorded on the Hoots on the Ground podcast right now.
Oh no! Oh
Yeah.
no! Wait. All
I,
right.
you're probably about the only phone call I would have answered right now.
Oh yeah, you're the best.
How cool was that to have Rafa and Andrew from Bosch Refine My Site call in right in the middle of a podcast recording? That was too good. I had to share it, but from there, back on to the podcast. I have done that. I have, believe it or not, created a little bit too much anxiety or strong stress, and I have impaired people's performance. Now, the wonderful and fabulous Miss Jennifer Lacy, she is quite the artist if you don't know that already. She is an official illustrator. Check out some of her work. Just go find her on Amazon. Pretty easy to get a hold of. She co authored a book called Lean in Love with Mr. Jesse Hernandez. Again, some of her visuals here, I just love showing this one specifically because that's usually me right there in the comfort zone. Only I've been able to pull mine out of the ground and I get to carry mine around with me. You can too. Just look at this chart, spend some time. Again, you got to get through that fear zone, but that takes being vulnerable, being willing to fail, right? Being okay with uncertainty, right? Being comfortable, not being comfortable. And so it takes faith. You've got to be able to grow and expand that comfort zone, but you got to get out of what she calls here the discomfort zone and into the land of unknown opportunities where you can meet your goals, you got your purpose, you're fulfilled in life, your dreams. And again, you will never get there if you stay within your comfort zone and you don't experience and get outside or get past your fear zone. So shout out Jen Lacy. I love that's again often me in the middle, but I'm able to yank my sign up, get through my little fear zone, holding my sign until I'm out there in that unknown opportunity land, just shouting and screaming and doing what's right for the construction industry because I'm a firm believer that that's my purpose and that's why I'm here on earth. Here's another version of the comfort zone. You see, you feel safe and in control inside that comfort zone, right? We're comfortable, but we need to get comfortable being uncomfortable, traveling in that fear zone through the learning zone into the growth zone where we're living our dreams, where we're finding purpose in what we do, and we're making sure that we're setting new goals and continuing to expand that comfort zone. I cannot overemphasize how important getting outside your comfort zone is. It is one of the most important things if you're going to learn and grow as an individual, as a human being, and you're going to improve in what you're doing, whether you're doing construction or you're just being a better father or mother or brother or sister or whatever other role that you might play in your life. This is important to get outside your comfort zone and make things a little bit awkward. Gravitate to those situations. One of the last things I want to do here for you is give you some ideas on how you can get outside your comfort zone. So remember, we want to encourage ourselves and we want to encourage our teams to get outside our comfort zone daily. I'm talking every single chance that you can, even if that means walking up to a trade worker in the field who's turning it, who's dirty, it doesn't look like you, or come from the same place that you, or maybe even speak the same language that you speak. Communicate with that person, tell them how much you value them, and learn something from them. And it doesn't have to be technical learning, or it can be technical learning. It could just be where are they from? Do they have children? What do they like to do? What are they passionate about? All humans want to matter. And you can use this comfort zone technique as a way to help make other people matter. Be comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm going to take you through some of my favorite ones. Doing normal things different. Like when I come to a meeting, I might have walk-up songs for people, right? Like I'm going to do everybody knows if you start a meeting with me, we're starting with some form of trust. I want to know something about you that's either inside or outside the gate that you're proud of or you want to share, you want to brag about or maybe something's wearing you down or like we can come up with icebreaker after icebreaker after icebreaker because we all know how important trust is on our job sites. And I can only get outside my comfort zone if I have established that first level of trust, right? And I've paused and reflected and I've studied how can I get outside my comfort zone? How can I bring true value to this situation? Do normal things different. Expose yourself to new environments. Like I said, the networking events, right? Like just take your feet and allow them to walk you in and put you in those situations that are just different. Don't overthink it. Let's get skilled trade workers. Let the craft workers present presentations to you. Let them run the safety meeting once a week. Don't you think they know the safety hazards and conditions better than you? Have some confidence. Allow them to take control. You don't have to let them take full control, but allow them to take control and get as much out there as they can. You might learn something, and then you can finish it up and paint it up and tie the pretty bow on it and make it beautiful or whatever you think you need to do. Couple more, take 10 to shake 10, right? Give 10 pounds, go around, shake 10 hands, meet 10 people, 10 new people that you don't know on the job site. This is a policy we had at DPR. I loved it. Boots on before you boot up. Don't you dare boot up your computer before you have your boots on and you've gone and walked the job site. And yes, that was tough, especially when your job site's a mile away. What do you mean I can't start my computer? Go out there, walk the job, understand the roadblocks, understand the constraints, know what's happening, understand the quality measures, the safety things that are going on the job site, and be able to react to those before you go get lost in your email and battling back and forth with this person or that person over back charge or submittal or RFI, whatever it is. Make sure you've had human interaction. Make sure you've put the job site first, that you've actually, again, remember, that is why we are here, right? Go to the Gemba, learn something before you get your computer started, and so that you can get focused and driving in the right direction. Again, here's the one I love the most. The next phone call that you take, Lean Builder Nation, don't be the last person to say goodbye on that phone call. This is super challenging, and I'm telling you, there's always a fight, always a struggle for the end of the conversation, right? Okay, bye. See you. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Take care. Okay. Yep. Yep. And so don't be that person. Give up that control. It is a little uncomfortable at first, but it's hilarious what happens. As soon as you do that, people really start to like, I don't know, it changes the conversation. It changes the level of intrigue for some people. So these are 10 things that you can do today in order to experience a little bit of that discomfort zone that Jen Lacy showed us. Get out there into that fear zone and start learning something today because you'll grow tomorrow. So again, ultimately, it's all about the comfort zone. It's all about experiential learning, just putting yourself in those situations to learn and grow as human beings, as individuals. This applies inside the gate. This applies outside the gate to our relationships at home, to the things that we're passionate about outside the gate. If we just take and experience new things. You think it's comfortable for me to stand in my studio up here in my office and say and talk to you and tell you about the comfort zone? No, this is like super uncomfortable for me. But I've done, this is our 44th episode now, and so it's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, right? I don't know if you can see the sign that I've got here with me, but this is my comfort zone. It's getting bigger and I'm getting more comfortable, and I'm able to share these things with y'all because I know they work. I've experienced them in real life, and I want you to do the same thing. Remember, seek those awkward moments, reach out for them, put yourselves in those situations because you're going to learn and you're going to grow from those experiences because that's just what lean builders do, baby.